Hello and welcome to Ask Me About K-Pop, the essential guide to recent converts and seasoned fans alike. My name is Shannon.
And I'm Angelica.
And welcome to another deep dive episode.
Woohoo!
This week's deep dive is a little bittersweet.
It really is.
Because it was able to be perfectly timed with the disbandment of the group Newest.
Yeah, it really is. It really is a shame.
Yeah.
I feel like we can, especially having gone back through this, well, maybe I'm getting ahead of
Getting
myself.
ahead of yourself?
Yes, but I don't know, just like personal, because we always talk about our personal connection with this group. And like personally, I didn't really know a lot about them until their later half of the career, which is true. Like that is true of this group. They like their surge in popularity happened several years after their debut. And I feel like, I don't know, it's such a shame, like going back and then listening to like their earlier stuff. I feel like pretty confident in saying that this is a criminally underrated group. And it's really a shame that they're disbanding now at a time where I feel like they were just
getting
their
started.
stride. Like, yes, we were just getting started. But we'll get into it.
We'll get to it. And needless to say, they did have a 10-year career. It didn't kick off till too late, but they did get 10 whole years as a group, which is an accomplishment in itself.
It is an accomplishment, and they were able to do some really cool things throughout their 10 years. And it's definitely not to say that they were a flop in any way, because I think that their discography is very respectable, and I really enjoyed learning all about them.
Yeah, totally. So if you have never listened to a deep dive episode before, what we are going to do is introduce you to Newest with some big picture facts, and then we'll introduce you to all of the members and then go through their timeline, all 10 years in order, stopping at each release and each milestone. And then you'll have a picture of it. Oh, and then we'll watch their second most watched music video at the end, because on this show we have a random game at the end of every episode and we watch said random group's most popular music video. And we got Newest in the random game at some point in 2019. So we've already watched their most popular music video. So we're going to do the next one.
The second one. But we will obviously talk about them all as they come up in the timeline.
Yeah. So ready to dive into it?
Yes, let's do it. So Newest debuted on March 15th, 2012, and they were the first boy group under Pledis Entertainment. Their name is stylized in all caps NU''EST, and it stands for New Established Style Tempo, but it's actually pronounced New East, not New West. But I feel like I personally can't train myself to say New East.
Yeah, it's Newest. And honestly, Aaron has said that he doesn't know what it is either, and that both are fine.
Okay, great. I feel really validated by Aaron.
So Newest's fan colors are deep teal and vivid pink.
Yeah.
Love those descriptions.
Me too.
Two dichotomies.
And they're two very different colors.
Yeah, I like it. And their fan club name is Love, but it's stylized L.O. Greek letter lambda, which looks like an upside down V, period E. So it's read as love, but it has a cool spelling. For fun.
Yeah. And they have overall in their 10-year career released 4 studio albums, 2 compilation albums, 8 EPs, 17 singles, and 27 music videos. They've received 81 nominations and 28 wins, including 6 Asian Artist Awards, 5 Golden Discs, and 2 Mamas.
Wonderful.
I had to remember what the 3
what
A's
the
stood for.
You got it though. All right, now it's time to meet the members of Newest. So our first member is JR, and his birth name is Kim Jong-hyun, like the other one, same name. And he is the leader, but not the oldest member of Newest. He is the main rapper, main dancer, face, and a vocalist. His birthday is June 8th, 1995, and he was born in Gangwon-do, Korea, and he is a Gemini. There's a lot of Geminis.
There's a
in
lot of
Newest.
Geminis. And all of the members except one are born in 1995.
Okay.
So very close age group for these guys.
And we always try to describe the members. So if you are learning about them for the first time, if you can look at a picture and try to familiarize yourself with them. So JR, I feel like has a very like square chin.
Yes.
Like the top of his head is very round, but the bottom half of it is like very angular.
Absolutely.
I also feel like he's tanner than the other members. Like maybe his complexion is just generally more olive, but like he has a like darker complexion than the rest of them. He has one dimple, and his nose is like, it's not super wide on the bottom, but I was thinking like if you drew a cartoon version of him, you would
like a little
draw
M.
like a little M. And his eyes are kind of wide set, and they turn down just the slightest bit at the outer corners. And I noticed when I was watching live stages that he kind of looks like Top sometimes, but I only ever saw it in live stages. Still pictures and music videos, I never like saw it, but on like live stages, sometimes in his smolder, I'd be like, he kind of looks like Top.
Okay, I had a similar experience, but different face that it made me think of, because I agree, like looking at still pictures and in the music videos, I was like, that just looks like JR, like it's his own face. But then every once in a while, when he would have like fluffy, permy hair and bangs, he looked a little bit like Lay to me on stage. And I think it's the sleepy eyes. Like when you said his eyes are a little downturned, I think that's what it was. But there were a couple stages where I was like, oh, he looks like a like early EXO Lay, and sometimes like a little bit like Kai maybe. In the way that sometimes Lay and Kai
Definitely
have like a similarity.
has a stage smolder.
Yeah.
He's definitely really
Maybe that's what it was.
smoldery
The smolder.
on stage.
Yeah. The smolder.
But he's like really silly. I think I decided over this that I think JR is my newest bias.
Oh, really?
Yes. I think because I mean, he's such a good dancer. Like every time I watch dance practices, I would always be like drawn to him. And like his stage smolder is like very intense. And I really liked that over the course of their career, he went from being like a growly rapper to like finding his very interesting singing voice. And he like sings in a good register. And I feel like he like grew to have a really like distinct voice in the group, and he writes for the group, so like I felt his growth over the time, and I don't know, I was just like I felt drawn to him, and I was like, that's what we say, that's how you know what a bias is. So like I think he was the one that grabbed me.
Well, great choice.
And he's really weird. Like when I was watching like funny new, like, you know, you watch a couple meme videos to figure out how the fans like them. He's a goober. He's like very, very strange. And so, I liked him. JR, I think it's my favorite.
I love it.
He has some nicknames.
Yes. Bangkok City Boy is one of his nicknames, and also National Leader, which is a nickname he received on Produce 101 because he kept being chosen as the leader of the group.
Interesting.
Yes.
He is a very talented musician in that he knows how to play the piano, the flute, the clarinet, saxophone, tuba, drums, and trombone.
Yeah, I saw
That's so many.
It's so many
horns.
instruments and so many horns, and I was like, "Is this real? Like, he really knows how to play all of these instruments?" I don't know, but I'm gonna believe it. He's also, as far as I could see currently, still a cast member on both Night Goblin and LAN Cable Life. LAN Cable Life?
Yeah, that's for gaming. I know him to be a gamer, so
yes,
I imagine
he's a gamer.
That must be
he's a gamer.
A game show. Okay, cool. All right, who's next?
Next up is Aaron, which I always read as Aaron or Aaron.
Because the Korean pronunciation is Aaron.
Yes, but his stage name is Aron, which is spelled like Aaron. But his given name is Aaron, Aaron, Kwak. And his Korean name is Kwak Young-min. Okay. But he is the lead rapper, lead dancer, and a sub-vocalist. He was born on May 21st, 1993, so he's the actual oldest and the only 93-liner. He's from Los Angeles, California, so that's why his name's Aaron. And he's a Gemini as well.
And Aaron has really thick eyebrows.
Yes.
They're so intense. And he has a really small mouth. And like his face, I wrote this and I can't really describe it, but like his face always looks blank to me in like
Yes.
the funniest way. Like I don't know what it is. Like it's that he like when he's like doing his idol thing, it's like he doesn't move his eyes at all, or I don't know, something. His face is just, I think he's so cute and funny. And he has his ears are like square on the side.
Yeah.
But like he has a very distinctive face. Like I feel like I would recognize him anywhere. Like I don't know.
I totally agree. And there was one, I think it was the I'm in Trouble comeback where he had like black hair that was kind of like it's not a fade, but it's like a short and then like taller on the top and
like
almost
kind
a
of
mullet.
yeah.
And he reminded me so much of a 1980s John Cusack that I like can't ever unsee it.
Okay, yeah.
So that's what I think of when I think of Aron. And he's my newest bias.
Fair.
And I have no real reason for that other than, I don't know, like I just always watch him and I know is like, he's like the quieter member, and he also is one of the only members who like doesn't have any writing credits throughout their career, and he's like the only one from America, and like he's really, really smart, and I feel like he is probably just a fairly like quiet, awkward, like and I know that he has like anxiety, so he's just like an anxious little bub, and like I don't know why he has like a quietness about him that I feel like drew me, and maybe it's the blankness in his face.
I think it also can be explained by Aaron famously does not speak Korean well and has no interest in learning to speak it better.
Yeah.
So I think he by default doesn't talk very much because he doesn't have anything to say. But when he's on like dive studio stuff and like after school club, when he's around the English speaking idols, he's a pretty different person. I think.
Great.
So I think he's quiet because he's just like, I don't have no
Interesting. Okay, cool. I will be interested to learn his like English personality. But I just thought he just strikes me as, maybe this actually kind of supports my theory that he was just like, I'm just along for the ride.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just
This
here.
crazy thing happened to me.
Yeah, like I got
whatever,
cast
man.
and I thought, yeah, let's do it. And like, here I am. And I like that about him.
It's great. It's great. He's really funny.
Yes. So he has several nicknames as well. Or he has one nickname, I suppose. And like I said, he was really smart. His nickname is Sexy Brain because he was accepted into NYU for journalism. He turned it down to join Pledis, but he had scored within the top 0.5% for the SAT in all of the US.
Dang.
He missed only 6 questions on the math section, which is also relatable to me. Anyway, like I said, he's Korean American, born and raised in LA, and he was scouted at the same festival as Nikun from 2PM. Then he got cast immediately at the LA Pledis auditions.
Wow.
And I think, if I remember correctly, when I was reading through like how everybody got cast, I think Aaron's parents didn't want him to do it because they were like, you should go to college. And he just bugged them so much until they finally just let him go. Like, fine, just go. Just leave. Enough. I don't want to hear about it anymore. So good for you, Aron, Aaron. Youngmin, I don't know.
I'm probably just gonna keep calling him Aaron. Sorry.
Aaron, yeah.
All right, next up in line is Baekho, whose birth name is Kang Dong-ho, and he is the main vocalist, newest. His birthday is July 21st, 1995, and he's a Jeju boy and also a Gemini. Baekho is the beefy one.
Yeah, and he's always been the beefy one. Like, I kind of thought at first, like, maybe
it would be a one.
It would be like a later on. But no, even from the
Mm-hmm.
beginning, he's always been the beefiest one.
Mm-hmm. He also has very good thick eyebrows, but his are much more like curved.
Yeah.
Aaron's are really straight.
They're straight across.
But like Baekho also has big eyebrows, but his like actually curve up. But he's very easy to spot.
Yeah, he is.
His nicknames are I Smile Prince and Sexy Bandit.
Apparently both of these he received when they went on Produce 101. Okay. But I thought Sexy Bandit was hilarious.
His stage name means White Tiger, and it was a nickname from After School's Yui bestowed upon him.
Yeah, it was a nickname that he received from her like in his trainee days, and it just like stuck. So it became his stage name, which I think is adorable.
And Becco was the vocal director for Priston's debut mini album, a perfect album that I love very much. So great vocal direction.
And Becco must, I wonder, like, what he is one of the members aside from JR that has like the most writing credits. So he definitely has a lot to do with like the sound that Newest eventually made for themselves. So very cool to see. Next up, we have Minhyun, birth name Hwang Minhyun. He's the lead vocalist and visual of the group. He was born August 9th, 1995 in Busan, and he's a Leo.
And I think that Minhyun is a classic skinny drama boy. Like
Yeah.
he just has that look. He looks like Chao Nu or like all those guys.
Yeah.
He's just like
His
got the look.
features are teeny tiny.
His face is so
his face
small.
is so small, and his eyebrows are like thin and like delicate. And I don't know if he is the tallest, but
I think
looks.
he is.
I think he is the tallest. He certainly gives off the vibe
tall
that he's the
vibes.
tallest because he's just like long.
Yes, his neck is really long and he's got like really thick under eye puffies. I think they're called aegyosal, but
Oh.
like, yeah, he's definitely got that like cute eye puff thing that everyone's obsessed with. And he has like a little mole under his eye. And like, I don't know.
Yeah,
He's just like, he's
delicate
got the look.
features.
He's got the look.
He's got the look.
His nickname is Shanghai Boy.
Yes, it is. Both Shanghai Boy. I didn't give context for Bangkok City Boy because we'll get to it in the
Get to it.
pre-debut
Okay,
stuff.
then hold on.
The mystery will be solved.
And Minhyun ranked 9th on Produce 101 season 2, and he was in Wannawan.
Yes, he
so we'll get to that as well. And last up, we have Ren, whose birth name is Che Min Ki, and he is a sub-vocalist and the maknae of Newest. His birthday is November 3rd, 1995. He is also a Busan boy, and he's a Scorpio. And Ren has a very small face as well.
But more like elfish quality.
Yes. And he has like wide set eyes, and I feel like his eyes are like the biggest and the roundest
yes.
of maybe anybody in the group. But his eyes are still kind of sleepy looking.
They're
at
like
the same
hooded.
time. Yes. And his Cupid's bow is so sharp. Like it is a perfect V, like pew.
Yeah. His mouth is small, but it's very like pouty. Like he always looks like he's kind of pouting. And it must be because of the Cupid's bow that just like pushes his lips out.
He also usually, if you're trying to pick him out for most of the career, had like the most excellent hair.
Yes.
Like the longest, most
Long hair.
luxurious, beautiful hair.
Ponytail. And if anyone is wearing like a winged eyeliner, it's definitely going to be Ren. He would like have the most. Yeah. Oh, you can always point him out because of the hair.
His Produce 101 nickname was Shoulder Gangster.
I think it was for some shoulder move, some shoulder choreo.
Totally. And Ren loves a little bit of drag.
Love it.
Love a little bit of drag. Loves to do makeup. He was in the musical Everybody's Talking About Jamie, where he like wore heels and drag and like fucking rocked it. Yeah, and he just like really hates gender norms.
Yes, he does. I saw a tweet of his where he like posted a ad campaign. This was like in 2016, like when it came out. He posted it, and it was a picture of him in a skirt and long hair, I think. And he just said, "Am I a boy or a girl? I am a man. Fashion makes a person and its impression." And he had like a laughing emoji.
Yeah.
He's also a cast member of the JTBC show Learning the Hard Way.
Wonderful.
Yes. And fun fact that I just saw, and I had to shout out because we did their deep dive earlier this year, but Becco, Minhyun, and Ren all named TVXQ as their role models.
I think that's great. And I think you can see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You totally
spirit is
can.
there.
You totally can. I felt like there was a real like SM spirit to a lot of the things that we saw, but we'll get into it. So jumping into the timeline, we're going to start by pre-debut. So like I said, they were Pledis' first boy group, which means that before they actually debuted, they were basically just the boys for any time after school needed boys.
I was going to check. I meant to check, but maybe you saw it. Were they the Pledis boys or 17 the Pledis boys?
I think 17 is the Pledis
Okay.
boys because I believe Priston were the Pledis girls.
Okay, that's what I
and
thought.
17 and Priston used to do pre-day stuff.
Okay, that's
pre-debut
what I thought,
stuff
but
together.
I meant to check if there was any overlap
That is if I remember correctly, I will say. I didn't see anything officially naming Newest as the Pledis boys. I'm just saying they were the boys because they were the only ones. So all 5 of them were backup dancers for After School Blues Wonder Boy. JR was the boy in Orange Caramel's Bangkok City, which is how he got his nickname, Bangkok City Boy. He was also in Yui's solo Sok Sok Sok. Baekho was in After School's Play Your Love music video, and Minhyun was in Orange Caramel's Shanghai Romance. So that's why he's Shanghai Boy.
I get it.
And then JR, Minhyun, Aaron, Ren, and Lizzie from After School were all in a New Balance commercial before they debuted as well.
There you go.
So a lot of Pledis family pre-debut shenanigans.
Got it. So then March 15th, 2012 is our debut day, and they debuted with a single called Face. This song was composed by Jang Jin-woon, Daniel Barkman, and Lee Yoo-jin. And the music video concept of this one is about confronting school bullies. Like, it's an anti-school violence song, which is a common debut concept.
Yes, it is.
Totally. And so in the music video, Newest is wearing school uniforms, but they've been like bedazzled with like punk spikes and stuff. So they're like cooler, and they have pink fingerless gloves for a little pop of color.
Yeah, each one of them has like a different pop of pink.
And Ren has like longer bleached hair and a little cute pony with bangs. It's very pretty.
And the prettiest, daintiest little cat
wing.
eye.
Just a little wing.
So lovely.
Baekho is also blonde, but his hair is like shaved on the sides and really tall.
Yes.
Also,
Coops is the school bully, which I just need to point out because that's hilarious.
Yes, I think we spotted them when we watched that for the random
we
game.
definitely
we were like,
did.
Holy shit, they're
because Coops and Wanwoo is in it, and I think Mingyu might be in it too, but
possibly.
Coops is the main bully, which is just funny. Yeah, the choreo is really fun to this, I thought. It like acts out the story. There's a lot of punching.
Yeah, and then they like, I noticed that the like main move of the choreo is like a flat palm, like straight arms, like pushy thing. And they kind of do that for like the next 2 choreos.
Yeah.
Their choreography stays kind of the same for the first couple of songs.
Yes, there's a very similar like theme to it. And I couldn't tell when I was watching. I was like, are you deliberately calling back to the previous choreo? Or does it just happen to be similar? And I couldn't tell. But it does begin with a chair dance, which I thought was really cool. Like it begins and ends, I believe, with a chair dance. But the song itself is like pretty techno heavy, and then it has that like TVXQ-esque dance break in the middle of it. But every time this song comes on, whenever it would come on the playlist, it doesn't really sound like this, but it would remind me. Do you remember that song that was like Maya Hee? That one. It always makes me think of that song. Yes, that one.
Yeah. I see that. The lyrics to this one are like very confrontational, and they're like addressing someone as stupid, not papo, not Korean, stupid in English. And talking about how they're gonna beat them and overcome them. But it reminded us of our rap line guessing silly game, because I had to memorize this is a story about a dwarf and a giant, but it's gonna end just like David and Goliath.
Keep up with my pace if you can.
Don't lag, Wile E. Coyote, I'm running fast. It's like very wild. But that's how the song ends.
So funny. Yes, that's Aaron. He always comes in with the English. This album sold this single, I guess, it had 3 tracks on it altogether. It sold 23,000 physical copies in 2012 and reached 62 on the Gaon digital chart. On the weekly download chart, okay, we had like a journey with the charts here
Sure.
this
It's
this
always a
time. It's
journey.
always a journey with the charts. But so because this wasn't an album, it was a single, I looked at the weekly download chart just to see like who's listening to it. It ranked at number 48 and it had 85,000 downloads in the first week.
All right. So shortly after, in July, on the 11th, they released their first EP, which is called Action. And the title track was Action, but we're going to watch that one at the end because their first music video is their most popular, and their second music video is the second most popular. Like,
Yes.
sometimes with a group like this, a newer music video would have overtaken by now, but
Yeah,
no.
but as we'll get to it later in their timeline, they have a resurgence halfway through. So that's why their like newer stuff is still really is like the most watched. So we'll give it more explanation later.
So, this song was composed by Jung Ji-woon, Bill Stax, Im Suho, and Ten. And the music, I'll talk about the music video later because we're going to see it later.
But I will say that this is a really fun song. I like Action a lot. I think it's like perfectly of the era. It's really dramatic, but it has like strong vocals and like the strings that are in a lot of like this 2012 stuff. And the choreo is like very, very sharp. When we watch the music video, we'll talk more about it, but I really enjoyed it.
The lyrics to this one are about not being a victim of conformity. And they're like, you all look exactly the same and I'm sick of it. Show your true self to the world. So I love it. I love when, again, we talked last week in the fan song episode about like HOT setting a blueprint. And I feel like groups starting out with their like Rage Against Society songs is a thing that HOT set up, and I like it.
Absolutely. And Newest did have like a specific concept of wanting to be like for teens because they were all teenagers when they debuted. And so they like wanted to specifically make songs that were like for the voice of the teens
For
or whatever.
sure.
This album ranked on the 77 on the digital chart. The digital sales were 48,000 by 2017. So that took a little while to get there. But it entered the Gaon weekly album at number 4 for the week of release and ended the month at number 8 with 15,000 sold in the first month.
Okay.
But like I said, they were the voice of the teens. And so on July 18th, 2012, they were appointed as the new face of the Korea Scout Association. And they went to a ceremony and they took pictures in their scout uniforms.
Adorable.
And they look so cute. And the Korea Scout Association chose them to be ambassadors because, quote, in addition to all the newest members being in their teens, Newest album Face and its recent album Action have carried tracks with strong messages for teens and youths. Newest song reflects the voice of today's youths.
They did it.
There you go.
Got 'em.
They did it. The following month, from August to December, they had their first fan meet tour, which was called Newest, the First Face to Face, which is clever because it's a fan meet. And also, their debut song was called Face. Get it? They performed in Bangkok and Sydney in August. So one thing that I have to say is very interesting about Newest's whole tour history, very few shows in Korea, almost entirely abroad.
Interesting.
Very interesting. So their very first fan meet tour, the first stops are Bangkok and Sydney in August. Then they go to Singapore in October and Malaysia in December. And then in between in October, presumably before or after they went to Singapore, I don't know. They were at the inaugural KCON here in California.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Bopping around.
Yeah. So then on February 13th, 2013, they released their second EP called The Second Mini Album, Hello, and the single is Hello. This song was composed by Son Ju-young, Hyun Jae-wook, Kim Tae-hoon, Siwoo, and Ji Slow. And the music video for this one, it's very snowy. It's like in a snowy void, like seeming like a park, but like there's nothing.
Yeah.
Because they're in a soundstage. But they're all seeing the same girl. It's that music video trope. And JR open mouth kisses a girl on the mouth.
Yes, and for a long time. A long time they are kissing. I remember us being scandalized by this in the Hello battle when we played this song. But it's real.
It's such a good song.
Love this song. It's so good. And the theater of the choreo.
Yes.
It's fucking magical. It has props and chairs and
tables
and
whole
and vignettes.
20 people.
It has ladies that come in and out. It's fucking great.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's really good.
Highly recommend watching any performance, any choreo version where you can see the full majesty of it all.
Yeah, and the lyrics to this one are like, they're kind of sad because the main chorus is like, hello, where are you? I'm getting worried. And like, as you read through the lyrics, it's very clear that the guy in the song is fucking getting ghosted and is like, won't accept it. He's like, are you stuck in traffic? Like, did you leave your phone at home? Like, trying to think of reasons why she won't pick up his call. It's because she don't want to see you anymore, bro.
Maybe she's cheating on him like she cheats.
Song.
And like in the music video.
Yeah.
Betrayal. The whole album was meant to show a more mature side of the group, and it definitely does, like in the B-sides and also just like the styling, I think, because now they're wearing like slicker stuff, and there's even Thai choreo, so like they're wearing suits in it too, which like before they were wearing just like, you know, like teen clothes, and like some of their stages looked like dressed up mall attire, and like now we're getting classy with the suits. The album reached number 1 on the Gaon digital chart. It sold 417,000 digital sales between 2013 and 2018, so over 5 years. It entered the Gaon weekly album chart at number 4 for the week that it was released, and number 9 on the monthly album with 9,000 copies sold. And I just want to, like, I don't know, we always talk about the charts. I just have to say, for context, there's a huge range on these charts because, like, the other deep dives we've done so far this year, like TVXQ is selling like 6 figures of albums and shit like that. And like, just for context, Newest ranked number 9 on the monthly album chart, selling only 9,000 copies, which you might think like, what are you talking about? Like, how is this possible? First of all, I got this from the Gaon archive, so don't at me that it's wrong, because it's not. Second of all, for context, that month, the number 1 was Shiny at 137,000. Number 2 was only 50,000. So there's a huge jump just from 1 to 2. And then like once you get to number 7, it's like less than 10,000. So it like jumps down really quickly. So just to say that people can rank in the top 10 and sell less than 10,000.
Sure. It's all about what else is going on. And also, like, I've been learning this with with my album coming out recently, that a lot of chart algorithms are like simply based on like a percentage, like day over day. So like the day that my album came out, we were like number 42 on the rock charts with like the best of the Eagles and like Rolling Stones, like really old albums that have probably sold millions and millions of copies like around us. And it's because the day before we had sold 0 albums. And the next day we had sold X amount of albums. So
but that like jumps it up.
Because compared to yesterday, that's a 10,000% increase or whatever. So it's all just dependent on what else is coming out and like what else is going on around it and what was they listening to yesterday. I don't know. It's all really
bullshit. It's all based on a lot of things, and all of this is to say that take every chart ranking with a grain of salt. We just give them to you to try and give it a little context for how popular the album was. All right, moving on. After this EP came out on February 13th, 2013, they had their first solo concert in Korea. It was called Showtime, Newest Time. It was at the Ladi Card Art Center in Seoul. And they chose a like smaller theater because they wanted to greet fans in a more intimate setting.
Well, there you go.
The following month, on March 15th, 2013, their 1-year anniversary, they had their first Japanese concert at what will eventually become a recurring series, debut first anniversary live Showtime. This was celebrating their first anniversary. They had not yet debuted in Japan, but they had 2 concerts in one day for a total audience of 4,000.
Very nice.
Then, a few months later, June to July 2013, they had their second fan meet tour, which was called the Newest Love Tour. And they had 2 stops in Japan, 1 in Singapore in June, and then they went to Taipei in July. So again, getting that international audience.
For sure. So then on August 22nd, 2013, they released their 3rd EP called the 3rd mini album, Sleep Talking, and the single is Sleep Talking. This song was composed as shouted out in the song by Double Sidekick and David Kim. Aaron says, on a double kick track. The music video concept for this is like super wild patterned clothes that are really mismatched and like neon signs. And there's like an upside down house with beds on the ceiling. And they're all chasing a like ghostly dream girl. And they're like nightmares and like.
It appears that they're doing some kind of sleep study because the girls they're in like a room and they're sleeping on beds, and at the end the girl, so like the whole thing is their dreams where they're chasing this ghostly woman, and like Becco gets chased with like a chainsaw and like shit happens and they like fall out of the beds. But the woman that they're chasing at the end of the music video comes in with a clipboard and walks around the beds while they're sleeping and like laughs as they're like tossing and turning, and so they appear to be being studied.
I see. But in this music video and also on the stages, Ren has like a headband that has like beaded curtain hanging down from it. It's so wild. And in the stages, they just put it in 2 braids.
It's so funny. It's so funny. This has the wildest looks so far. Just like all kinds of patterns, shiny fabrics. Becco and Ren both have pink hair. Minhyun's like highlighter green shirt is backless, and they're like they have painted nails. Becco has tattoos in it. JR's a very fluffy hair. I like it when his hair is fluffy. But yeah, it's really fun. There's a cheeky shirt lifty chorus
cheeky shirt lift, and when they did the stages they put like love tattoos on their little hips
because they don't show their abs, they just show their like hip bone, and so Minhyun would put a love tattoo on it. But the choreo, I think, needs to be seen because they do an absolutely incredible leg locking back bend where they all stand in a circle around
and then become a table.
And then they
become a human
back-bend,
table.
They become an interlocking table, and one of them is standing in the middle and just like sings his verse while they're all lying, just like. Oh, it's so fucking cool. I screamed when I watched it.
It looks really
great. And then
great.
I rewound it.
I loved seeing it as choreo, and it just reminded me that like at some point in middle school at some kind of leadership conference or some dumb thing that I had to go to as like a trust exercise, get to know you game. We had to do that, like lay in a person table. Because if you just space it out right and everyone just sits and lays down at the same time, no one will fall. And it was like so I was like, oh, I've never seen that used for choreo. Like, that's cool.
Yeah. But then the chorus is very like easy. I feel like it's like meant to be easy to learn because they do this like cute little head tilt where they're like sleepy and then they like stretch and it's very cute.
The album concept and genre for this was a music fantasy.
Mystic fantasy.
I can't read.
It was supposed to be mysterious and fantasy-ish. But they wanted to show a cheerful and bright side in order to break from the previous concepts, which had been kind of serious, or dramatic in different ways.
Society.
Exactly. Or getting cheated on. But the whole EP, I feel like, has a totally different sound from the previous ones. Like all the songs are fun, but they're like way more lively than the previous ones.
The lyrics to Sleep Talking are very similar to what the music video says. It's like about a dream girl. She appears when I go to sleep and she disappears when I'm awake. Where are you, my dream girl? Will I ever find you in real life? Like that whole story.
Etc. This EP entered the Gown Weekly album at number 8 for the week of release and the monthly at number 15 with 12,000 sold. It was number 92 on the Gown Digital and it had 35,000 in digital sales in 2013.
And JR has 2 writing credits on this album.
Yes, this is the first album where we see member credits. So JR's the first. And I will have to say, so he wrote Pretty, or he has a lyric credit on Pretty and Please Don't. And both of those songs are very good. Mm-hmm. I really like them a lot. Pretty, I believe, if I remember correctly, features someone. It features a woman, I think. And I really liked it, if I remember correctly.
No, okay, it's a different one. I was like, the one song I hearted to recommend, I was like, I think it's on this album.
Oh my gosh, speaking of B-sides though, I wrote it down because on the Hello EP, the second song is called Hello, Hello. I thought that was very silly.
Okay, so next up on November 11th, 2013, a subunit was debuted. I guess that's what you would call it, but it's literally all the members
plus one.
So
maybe it's more of like a special
project group.
Yeah.
But they were called Newest M, which stood for Mystic or Marvelous or Multiply or just Mandarin, like it usually does when you put an M on something. But yes, this was Pledis partnered with Yuhua Entertainment to get into the Chinese market. So they decided to add a Yuhua trainee named Jason to Newest. Then they re-recorded Sleep Talking and Face in Chinese. And they like performed at like a company announcement and like on TV one time. And I believe that is all that they ever did as Newest M, because the like partnership with the company was over like after 6 months. And so like
interesting. I would be interested to look more into Pledis' connection with Yuhua, because Yuhua is a very big like entertainment company in China that does do K-pop stuff. Like they're the company that gave us Unique.
Right.
So, and there's like other, what was that? Who's that? It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant now. But yes, so they put out the Chinese version of Sleep Talking.
Yes. And I also saw a fun fact, because when I was finding the performances, the like only existing performances of Newest M, so many of the YouTube comments were like, came here after Jason's news, LOL, was reminded of this with Jason's news. And I was like, what is Jason's news? Jason pulled a Chen in 2019 and announced a wife and a baby in the same day. So he has a daughter now. Because Jason had like debuted in a Chinese group before getting put in Newest M, and then when they disbanded the Newest M thing, he changed companies and was in another group, I think. So he's like had a whole thing as a little Chinese idol himself. But
interesting.
Thought that was funny.
That is
Newest
really
M. So that was a thing that happened one time,
and it ended in early 2014.
Yeah.
All right, great. So March of 2014, they go back to Japan for their debut second anniversary live, Showtime 2. They still have not had a Japanese debut, but they hold 4 concerts, 2 at each venue in Osaka and Tokyo, for a total audience of 6,000 people.
Very nice. So then on July 9th, 2014, they released their first full album, which is called Newest, the first album, Rebirth. And the single is Goodbye Bye. Goodbye, baby, goodbye. This song was composed by Bumzu, Kim Tae-sung, Cha-Cha Malone, and Casper. And the music video concept for this one is like all black outfits with like little mesh peekies. And they're in like a spooky old house.
Yeah.
JR eats a beta fish live out of a bowl. Ren dramatically shows his abs before puking, and then he comes up out of the toilet and has a rose in his mouth. And like someone gives themselves a tattoo. Minhyun gives himself a tattoo. And also it seems like their tummies hurt. Like they're all just like clutching their stomach and like hitting the walls of this like decrepit old house and being like, I'm so pained.
They're so pained. They are so pained. Yeah, this is the first like major skin showing. Because Ren is just like open shirt for most of the music video, and then like Minhyun is wearing like a really low cut tank top, and also Ren is shirtless on the album cover. So this was the time to take it off.
But this song has hands in pockets choreo, which I love. Love that. And it's otherwise like very jumpy. It's like a very like light, flighty song. And then the pocket part is like real grounded.
Yeah, and they do these like fun kickback jumps. They did release a choreo version of the music video, which is like a really great one take of the whole thing. And so that I highly recommend that.
The lyrics to Goodbye Bye are, there will be a day when I forget you. And it's basically like a self pep talk to get over a breakup. Like, I just need to move on. Like, we got to get through this pain and get over this.
This album entered the weekly album chart at number 5 for the week of release and the monthly at number 13 with 11,000 copies sold. And JR has 3 writing credits on it. Aaron has 1 on a song called Give Me a Shoulder, which is one of my favorite songs off of the album.
There you go.
My bias, I suppose. Shining through before I even knew that that's what it was.
Yeah.
But I just have to say this album, it's a full album, so it has like 12 tracks or so, but it also includes the 4 previously released title tracks. So not all of the songs are new on it. After this album, the same month, on July 30th, they put out, at last, their first Japanese release. This was called Newest Best in Korea, and it is technically considered their debut, but it's a compilation album that was released by Areola Japan. It has 14 tracks that were previously released in Korea, plus a Japanese version of Sandy, which is a B-side from the Action EP. And it has only one original track called Shalala Ring, and that was later released as a single on November 15th. And I just have to say, Shalala Ring is a very fun song, and I liked it a lot. In August of 2014, to promote this Newest Best in Korea, they go on their first Japanese tour, Newest Japan Tour, One Love. They performed in 3 shows in 3 cities for an audience of 5,000. And then they're going to spend a few months touring. So September 2014, they go on their first overseas tour, Newest Latin America Tour. They did 4 shows. They went to Mexico City, Lima, Peru, Santiago, Chile, and Sao Paulo, Brazil, for an audience of 8,000 people.
Wow.
And then on October 17th, they went back to Japan for a 3rd Japanese concert, just 1 show called Newest Autumn Live at Nakano Sun Plaza in Tokyo. Then November, they went on their 2nd overseas tour, Newest Spons Europe Tour. They put on 5 shows. They went to Paris, Helsinki, Warsaw, Bucharest, and Milan. This was put on by My Music Taste, which is a Kickstarter organization where fans, not a Kickstarter specific, but like Kickstarter-esque
style.
Yeah, organization. Crowdfunding concerts specifically. And fans can campaign for where they want to see their favorite artists. So fans got to vote for what cities in Europe they wanted Newest to go to. So that is why they went to those 5 cities in particular. And I couldn't confirm that that's what chose the Latin America stops too, but I felt like maybe it seems reasonable to me that that's how they would have done it, especially if they, I don't know, a summer and autumn of touring for these boys.
All right. Busy. So then in February, on the 27th of 2015, they released a special single called I'm Bad. I'm Bad was composed by Kim Hyun-ju and Rishi, and the music video of this one is like 75% speed shots. Like, it's not full slow-mo, but they're not like moving at real speed. And they're in like black suits with bolos or like comfy sweater looks and just lazing around a like fancy but dusty looking house.
Yes.
And then there's a lady like doing ballet that they cut to sometimes. And there's no group shots at all in this music video, just individual
Yeah.
singing the song in different chairs and floors and such.
Yeah, supposedly the song was for their anniversary, but it's released in February and it's definitely not a fan song. So I don't know. I couldn't find anything to confirm that that's like what it was for, but it is very groovy and I liked it a lot.
Yeah, and the lyrics are like, I'm a bad guy. I'm so sorry. A girl like you is too good for me. And should I just call you tomorrow? Should I just call you tomorrow morning? I keep thinking of you crying.
Oh dear.
Yeah, this guy, he's like,
Bad.
yeah, because he's like, I'm bad. You shouldn't be around me. But like, also, I feel like I should like call you because I feel like you need me. Bad. He's bad.
Oh, I interpreted that as being on the phone and she's crying and saying like, I'll just call you tomorrow. Oh, but I keep thinking of you crying. Never mind. I don't know. Either way, it's this guy's no good.
This guy's bad. He said so.
So the rest of the year, they're going to leave Korea and do lots of other things. So starting with March 2015, second Japanese tour. This is the newest Japan tour, Showtime 3. This is an anniversary show, but bigger and better than ever because it's got 7 shows in 6 different cities. Then on May 3rd, 2015, they have their first U.S. solo concert called Newest First Solo Show in Dallas. And this is another show that was presented by My Music Taste. So fans voted to have them go to Dallas. They just did one show at a place called Gillies Dallas in Dallas, Texas. And I read that the VIP meet and greet was like a regular like $150 or whatever ticket price, but the general admission was free.
Free?
Yeah, when you pay, they apparently like when you would pay online, like it would charge you $30 and it would automatically refund you. And they said it in all the announcements, like it will automatically refund you. Like general admission is free. I couldn't believe it. But yeah. May 20th, so later that month, they released their second Japanese single called Na Na Namida. They also had a B-side on this single that was a Japanese version of their song Hey Love. And I just have to point out that this song has umbrella choreo, and I love that shit. The whole thing happens in the rain, and it's very theatrical and good.
Love that.
September 2015, they go on their third overseas tour. Newest World Tour Concert Vive. This had 4 shows in Mexico City, San Salvador, El Salvador, Sao Paulo, Brazil, and Bogota, Colombia. That same month, so I'm assuming I wrote it down. Just 2 weeks after their last show in South America, they went on their third Japanese tour, Newest Japan Tour, Bridge the World. And they had 3 shows in 3 cities, Osaka, Tokyo, and Nagoya. That following month, 2 months later, November 20, blah, blah, blah. In connection to this tour, Bridge the World, on November 18th, 2015, they put out their first Japanese album of the same name, Bridge the World. They had previously, I'm assuming like during the tour, released 4 different songs as like pre-release singles, one of which was called Bridge the World. There was also a song called Cherry, Access to You, and Ame Nochi Ain. The title track was released and performed at the Show Champion Special Korea Music Festival in Yokohama, which commemorated the 50th anniversary of the Japan-Korea Treaty. So, Bridge the World, that's what the song's about.
Very nice.
I couldn't find a music video for the title track. I don't think there is one. Or at least it's not on YouTube.
Japanese
Yeah, they've hidden it.
videos.
But they did put out an English version. And the song Cherry was used as a theme song for the film Their Distance, which is an independent Japanese film that starred the newest members.
Wow.
Yeah. It apparently told like it was told like different vignettes. It's a film that centers around different ideas of love, from generational to cultural, told in a non-linear narrative switching from various days in April to illustrate the perspectives of all the characters.
Wow, sounds artsy.
Yes, apparently it was. It had the newest members and a couple Japanese actresses, and there's like a few parts where they actually speak Korean in it too. Anyway, December 23rd to 24th, 2015, they finished their year with a Japanese special concert called Newest Christmas Special Event. They had 2 shows in Osaka and Tokyo.
Then on February 17th, 2016, they released their 4th EP, which is called Q Is, and the single is Overcome. This song has a lyric credit for JR, first title track with a member credit on it. And it was also written by Bumzu, Max Song, Kim Eun-soo, Sogi, and Bum. And I gotta say, before I get into anything else, this was the first song that I was literally furious I'd never heard it before.
Oh, I know.
So mad. This is one of the weirdest K-pop songs I've ever heard, and it's so good.
It's
like
great.
The melody is so beautiful and it's like so smooth and groovy, but the fact that the chorus has like the Cupid shuffle percussion and it like does not match with anything else that's happening, but it works somehow. Like it is such a weird K-pop song. It's like such a K-pop song, and I'm literally so mad that I had never heard it before.
Especially because if I had heard it when this came out, I would have, without a doubt,
totally gotten all into this.
Well, yes, but I was going to say fully, without a doubt, understood the concept of bed squeak percussion.
Yes.
Because it has the squeakiest of the squeaks I've ever fucking heard. But the whole thing is really fun. Like, there's the chorus with that, like, there's such good falsetto high notes in the chorus, and then the end just like explodes in riffs. It's so good. The choreo is really good. There's super cool formations and a ton of really good like ripple effects. And then we're gonna talk about the whole like concept of it, but the details in the choreo are also very like smart and intricate, and it tells a story, and it's great.
Yes,
it's really good. This whole EP, perfect from start to finish. No notes, all bops. Q is. Listen to it.
Wonderful. So the music video for Overcome, it's in like a rundown mansion and also in like an endless snowpocalypse. Mm-hmm. And like Minhyun has like goggles and a cape like it's Star Wars. And he's like searching in this weird snow desert, and Ren has like super long black hair and like
to
blue
his
contacts.
Waist. It's so much hair.
And they like there's a flashbacks to like a queen on a throne, and she like gets like sucked out of the window behind her, and they're all into like a portal, and they're all like no, like reaching, and she gets sucked away, and then this queen will like be part of the rest of the music videos for like a couple of years. Like this starts some weird like lore in the newest music videos. Yeah,
so this album or this EP Q is, the Q stands for Queen, and it tells the story of knights who want to protect their queen, and it is a narrative that they will continue for the next couple EPs. But like, so in the choreo, there's like a specific part where they like do like a crown move, and then it ends with them like and they're like holding swords, like miming like holding swords. It's very cool. It's like subtle. It's not like super overt, but if you know what to look for, it's there. But yeah, so the whole album also supposedly like tells different pieces of the story, each song telling about a knight who loves and wants to protect his queen.
Yeah, and the lyrics for Overcome, there's a line that's, "It's all right, girl, even when the black thorns scratch me up and give me scars, I'll be your knight to save you from sadness." And it also has a lyric where they say, "Baby, mama, maha, ken the purple da moon." It's like a whole thing, and it does not translate to literally anything.
The last part sounds like purple the moon.
It does sound like purple moon.
But Purple the Moon.
Purple the Moon. It's like a crazy phrase, and I Googled it, and it does not seem to exist literally anywhere online, spelled in Korean or spelled in English, anywhere pre this song. And every single link explaining what it means is from like a Soompi forum about this song or a YouTube comment on this song.
Okay.
And the only thing I found that was not Newest related was a Korean tattoo artist who had tattooed it on somebody. But they didn't mention Newest, but it was like after that, I don't know, but it's supposedly, quote, a spell to make you forget your sorrow. But like nobody knows where it came from. It doesn't seem to have any actual lore. I saw one fan supposing that JR just reads a lot of manga and that it's like from something or from a video game, and he like pulled it out somehow. But it's one of those like lyrics that's supposedly a spell from no source material that anyone can find. So I don't know, just a weird thing about this song.
Interesting. I also wonder if they just like made it up, like knowing that it was going to be a storybook,
and then people
like
would
fantasy
Google it.
concept. Yeah. And then like maybe somebody said like, oh, it's a spell, that's whatever.
Yeah, they had their marketing team like guerrilla go into the comments and say that's what it was and just start a legend.
Exactly. This album entered the weekly album chart at number 5 for the week of its release, and the monthly at number 15 with 6,000 sold. On the EP, JR has 4 writing credits, Baekho has 2, and Minhyun has 1.
Next up in August, on the 29th of 2016, they released their 5th EP called the 5th mini album, Canvas, and the single is Love Paint, parentheses, Early Afternoon. So Love Paint was composed, it had lyrics by all the members of Newest and was composed by Bumzu and Royal Dive. And the music video to this one has them all like staring out of windows of this like blank, like teal apartment. And Aaron is painting with no canvas on the thing. And there's like a black box with like lasery lights for the dance scenes, and they're wearing untucked button downs, and there's one scene with like flowy purple shirts.
Yeah, they wear those on a stage at some point.
And also Ren has a pink bowl cut that is unforgivable.
Yeah,
his hair usually looks so good, and like this is a truly terrible haircut that would look good on no one. And it's also dyed really poorly.
It's
like
dyed really poorly, and it's cut really poorly.
Yeah.
Like it is not evenly cut at all, and I like can't even believe that anyone allowed him to leave the chair with that on his head.
I know.
It's unbelievable to me.
It's very unbelievable, I think. I didn't like that.
I didn't like it at all, but I do really like this song.
Oh my God, it's so good.
It's so good. I like don't know how to describe it, but it's really nice. There's like super funky bass moments, but it's like not in your face, but it's like energetic. It like moves. I don't know. It's really nice. It's really nice. And the choreo is really cool to watch because at the beginning they do these like fun painting moves, and they use the backup dancers as like props and set pieces in a really cool way. And they even do the like sexy sister leg snaky move, which is always a favorite. But the whole concept of this EP was about like going through 24 hours of a day, because it starts with Daybreak, which is a duet between Minhyun and JR. And every single song had like the title comes with a parentheses that has something like one morning, every afternoon, evening by evening, starlight night. And it's supposed to continue the Knight and Queen story.
The lyrics to this one are, in my black and white life, you put color into my world. And from the east where flowers bloom, we become a harmonious color. And as discussed last week, this song has many symptoms of a fan song. It was written by the members. It has the fandom in the title. It addresses the audience as we. And it speaks poetically about making each other better with your bright colors of the world. So I think
an argument can be made.
But funnily enough, the newest song I used in my data for the fan song episode, I think is on this album, but was not this song. They had a lot of fan songs to choose from, honestly.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. That one, that's on this album, is
Yeah.
Thank You. Yeah, this whole EP is very, very pretty and nice. It was really lovely. I liked it. This song got them their first music show nomination, not their first music show win, but nomination on the show. And the EP entered the Gaon Weekly album chart at number 3 for the week of release, and the monthly chart at number 22 with 4,000 sold. Minhyun has 5 writing credits, JR has 4, and Baekho has 3. In October of 2016, they went on their 4th Japanese tour, newest Japan tour, One for Love, and they had 6 shows in 6 different cities. And then we get to 2017. So previous to this, I suppose we should say that supposedly I read from a few different places. I couldn't confirm in an interview where they talked about with TVXQ, we had so many interviews where they were like, yeah, we thought about not continuing. I didn't find that for this, but supposedly the group had been considering disbandment because they hadn't been hugely successful in Korea. Like, they're able to go abroad, but at home, they're not having huge numbers. So Pledis decided to put JR, Baekho, Minhyun, and Ren on the 2nd season of Produce 101. While the season airs, they went on there. The whole promise of the show is to give people a second chance, even though actually no, it's not really.
Usually
that's
trainees.
The unit. It's usually trainees. Yeah,
there were only a few already debuted people on the Produce.
Yes,
shows.
on season 2 there was there were.
Because there were other
they were not the only group that was on Produce 101 season 2, but yes, it is mostly trainees. But anyway, Pledis put them on there to hopefully rise their popularity. And it worked, because while the season aired, both Q-Is and Canvas started rising in the charts. And after the finale, 5 newest albums re-entered the monthly Gaon charts: Action, Q-Is, Rebirth, Sleep Talking, and Canvas. So it did what it was supposed to do, luckily. Minhyun, like we said, was in 101. So he joined that for 1.5 years. And the remaining 4 members capitalized on that recent surge in popularity. So they started promoting the 2013 single Hello as newest W on music shows. And the W stands for waiting.
So now we will enter the newest W era of the story.
And we made the executive decision to include this.
Oh, we have
because
to.
it's vitally important.
It's important. And honestly, not that Minhyun isn't important. It's very important. But it's still the same group. It seems like it would be
100%.
Not counting Super Junior comebacks where they weren't all there. Then you couldn't count any of them after a certain point.
That's so
true.
Anyway, that's so true.
It's part of the story, but it's different because Newest, unlike other groups, decided to really mark that as a thing. I feel like other groups are missing members for whatever reason, and they don't usually rebrand to do that.
Newest decided to turn over a new leaf, pun intended. And I feel like they also took Newest W as an opportunity to carve out what the newest sound was going to be.
Yes.
Because the previous releases that they've had, I think there's a huge range from title to title. There's not really a consistent sound. And even in the B-sides, every EP sounds unique. They do their own thing for each album. And then in newest W, I feel like you get what I think of when I think of the newest. What does newest sound like? This is where we start to get it.
I think so. I'll get to it. I'll get to it. I have more thoughts about that, but we'll get to it. So just a fun fact to start off before we talk about the newest W era, I thought that it was very interesting. Again, that they were leaning into this. We are missing a member, but we're going to do something else. So watch us while we're waiting. In that every title track that they released as newest W has Missing You as a huge theme of the song. They're definitely mostly emo breakup songs, and don't seem like you could be this is about their missing member, because they're very
it's
girl,
just
you
the
broke
theme.
my heart. But the theme is that they're missing someone and missing something. And I just thought that was interesting that they decided to make this whole era a thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the first thing that they did as New SW was a debut single called If You. So there's no music video for If You, but they did music show performances where they all like walk in one at a time in a like meet us, or it's like, or it's us, your boys from Produce that got voted off, because all like the ones who went on also got acclaim even though they didn't make it into
Right,
101. They
absolutely.
were getting lots of like screen time and nicknames and personalities from being on this super popular reality show. But yeah, this is just a really nice mid-tempo R&B ballad, and it reminds me of like old first gen boy band. Like it's just a very classic boy band song.
It's just really pretty, and the like they just do like a stand and sing like for the performances. But the performances of this and Hello that they did like in their revival stages are very good. Very good.
So then on October 10th, 2017, they released their first EP as New SW called W Here, and the single is Where You At?
Where you at? Where you at? Where you at?
This song was composed by JR, Becco, Bumzu, and Royal Dive. So I guess I'll take my moment and say it right now because I said Bumzu's name. But the last two tracks were also, or maybe three, but the last couple of tracks have also had Bumzu on it. And if you are a 17 fan, Bumzu writes all the 17 songs with Woozy. And I think that
He's also a Pledis soloist.
Yes. And I think this is part of the like coming into their own journey or coming into like something cohesive. This is where I feel like they start to establish what like is a Pledis sound.
Sure,
I guess.
absolutely.
Because I also know, I feel like Becco sings really similarly to how DK and Boo sing. And there's like, oh, this is the Pledis voice. The way that there's 100%. A JYP voice
and an SM voice. Yeah.
So like, yeah, I feel like Bumzu getting involved like starts to like give
absolutely.
them
And I think that
sound
this song very much fits into the music 17 was releasing at the time. Like
that drop, that EDM-y drop is so 2017.
Oh, yeah. And the like, where you at? Like, is so DK.
Yes.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. But so, like, to say that the company is kind of like fleshing out their sound is fun. And it's cool to see that they're getting a chance to do it themselves. Like,
yeah, because the member, it's like, it's not just Bumzu, but also the members. It's like the same way that Bumzu and Woozy is 17.
Yeah.
Bumzu,
like JR, and Becco is newest
now.
Yeah.
And that's really cool.
Yeah.
But also the music video for this one, when it started, I was like, oh, hello, budget.
That's what I said. I was like, oh, money.
Because they're actually outside.
Yeah. And there's like helicopter drone shots and shit. Like money.
But this is like a very, very trippy, artsy music video that was starting to become the like moment in K-pop at the time.
Yeah.
But we get our motifs of our queen stuff because there's a woman with a jewel mask and she kidnaps Ren in a red car. And we like zoom away to this empty spot in the desert where there's a mirror, and the mirror is gonna keep being a thing too. And she like dances all spooky in the mirror, and like I don't know, there's just lots of trippy, artsy. There's a church, there's like a neon church, and like Aaron is looking for keys in like a room that's all overgrown, and like there's a bedroom underwater. There's just like a lot of
shit
artsy
happening.
Things happening, and then them dancing in this like endless desert.
Yeah. And they are wearing like super bright red tops so that they're like the only spot of color in it. It's very fun.
The lyrics to this one are, I run around searching, but I'm still only in my room. And even if you're just an illusion, I'll keep chasing. So it's kind of similar to that Dream Girl song where it's they're missing something and searching for something, but like, is it only in my mind? I don't know. Art. And this song was #1 on the Gaon Weekly.
Hell yeah.
And sold 288,000 copies. So New SW, like going on Produce, fucking worked.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like fucking 20 quadrupled,
So
whatever,
much
like
bigger.
so much more sales. And their first number one, as any iteration,
anything,
I
yeah.
believe. Yeah.
So then on December 23rd, 2017, they released an OST called Let Me Out for a drama called A Korean Odyssey. And this is a dubstep song with real creepy vibes. But the drama itself is a modern take on a 16th century Chinese novel called Journey to the West. And it is currently available on Netflix US if you want to watch it.
Sure.
But then June 25th, 2018, they released their second EP as newest W called Who You, and the single is Deja Vu.
수 없으니까 기억을 걷는 이곳에 차라리 날 가둬줘 데자부 시간을
Ugh, what a song. I feel like
so
I meant to check where I put it, but in my 2018 best ofs, Deja Vu was a lot of places, I think.
Oh, yeah. And I remember when we saw them at KCON that year, and we were like, who the fuck is this? They're great.
Yeah, they are great. This song was composed by JR, Beko, Bumzu, and Anchor, who will come up again, but that's the first appearance of Anchor. The music video for concept of Deja Vu is suits.
Oh, yes.
It was a suit concept. No shirts, suits.
No
Suits.
shirts. And they did have a preview. I wrote it down. When was it? I have it. Oh, for Overcome. No one had a real shirt except for Aaron. And then in this one, even he did not have a shirt on. So
No
they
shirts.
got him on board.
And the music video is again like keeping with the like trippy artsy theme. It's like they're in what appears to be like a museum, but all the statues have like hollow fabric thrown over them, and there's like TVs and microphones and cameras and weird old technology like sticking out of all the walls.
Yeah.
And now the queen is a child, a weird ghostly child that keeps appearing behind them. But she's still their lost queen, I can only interpret. And I also can only interpret that they are making LSD at the beginning of the music video. Because at the beginning of the video, one of them has all these like vials and tinctures, and they're putting drops of stuff on like hollow stickers. And I was like, I only know that to be drugs. But there's also like a time machine and like a spooky door to nowhere. It's just there's a lot happening.
Yeah, there is a lot happening to it. But the moments of choreo that you see in it are fun, but I highly recommend finding a full choreo version of it, because I think not only does this sound, I think, exemplify that newest sound we're going to keep getting moving forward, but I think the choreography is a really good example of the style they're going to keep moving forward, because the choreo has super interesting detailed isolations in it, and they do the newish trend of choreo in their later half, which is one of my favorite things about them, is that they love to do isolations where they'll like lean dramatically and then they just do their hands for like a whole bunch of stuff, and then they like move and they like have really smooth like sweepy legs, and they even do the little like leg snaky move again in this, and it's just very like subtle and cool and sexy in a like smooth way that I love. Their choreo just like slithers.
Yeah.
And I think it's great.
That's good.
I think it's great.
The lyrics to Deja Vu are, let me turn back time to go where you are. Let me stay with you. So the time machine.
Absolutely. This album went to number 1 on the weekly album chart. It stayed at number 2 for 2 weeks afterward. And it ranked at number 3 on the monthly with 153,000 sold.
And I also noted that they released a self-cam dance around type music video for the B-side. Yellow no. It's Lonely backwards. I don't know how you would say it, but the title is Lonely backwards. So then on August 26, 2018, they released their second OST, a song called And I from Mr. Sunshine, This is just really beautiful vocals on your standard OST ballad. But Mr. Sunshine is a historical drama that takes place in the 1800s about a guy who stowed away on a ship to America when he was a child. And then he comes back to Korea as an American soldier. And this like, and he like loves a girl, but they're still wearing like old timey Joseon clothes like in Korea. But like he's come from like the city where there's carriages and cars and like I don't know, my brother watched it and said it was good. It's also on Netflix.
Great.
But they sung one of the beautiful love songs on Mr. Sunshine. Then on October 1st, 2018, they did a collab single called I Don't Care with NCSoft character brand Spoons. And it's just a little super cute pastel box music video. And it's a fun little song.
Yeah, very bubblegum, very cute.
So then on November 26th, 2018, they released their final EP as newest W called Wake, N. And the single is Help Me. This song was composed by JR, Beko, Bumzu, and Anchor, just like the last one. And the music video concept for this one is that there's a lot of weird old technology around like reel-to-reel machines and a telegraph thing and like empty warehouses, but then there's like a living room set in the middle of the empty warehouse. There's stairs to nowhere. The mirror that the queen looks through is cracked now. There's like water suspended in the sky. So we've got like more trippy elements, but they're wearing like suit-like outfits. They're not suits. They're all like complicated other things.
Yes, I feel like they do come off very princely or like royal court adjacent because there's a lot of like very beautiful structured jackets and coats that are not necessarily a strict suit, but like each one of them is very different. They're not wearing the same thing at all, and it's really nice.
The lyrics to this one are, I try to erase you, and then I miss you, and then I hate you. What do I do? So the help me is that, that dilemma of like, I can't get over this.
Yeah, this song is very interesting too, because like it's mostly just computer effects and like not distinctive instruments, I feel like, in the background, but the vocals are so pretty the whole time. Like it's very singy, and then it has such a like belty chorus to it. I like don't know how to classify this genre of music aside from being like, that sounds like what Pledis makes. But yeah. The album entered the Gaon Weekly chart at number 1 and the monthly at number 4 with 157,000 sold. So that was the last album that Newest W put out, and then in February of 2019, Minhyun's 101 contract finished at the end of January, so he rejoins Newest in February, thus dissolving Newest W.
There you go. It was a moment.
They held it down.
They sold the albums.
Hell yeah, they did. They ranked real high. And we didn't mention it, but they did I don't remember. I think it's Deja Vu is the first one that won a music show. I could be wrong about that. But one of their newest W's did win a music show. And yeah, that was the first time that any iteration of the group had won.
Yeah. They also, I didn't mention it before, but I thought it was interesting. They got light sticks for Newest W, and they had not had light sticks previous.
Interesting.
But they got light sticks for Newest W because I remember people having them at that KCON.
Right.
It was like it kind of looked similar to the Monsta X one, but there was a W like in the clear part. And then they got new light sticks later that like their current or the light sticks they ended up with look so much like those like crystals that Superman like plugs into his crystal computer. Like the shape of it is so interesting. Anyway, March 15th, 2019, they released a special single called A Song for You, a fan song for the 7th anniversary and to celebrate that they were 5 again.
And it is beautiful. We put in the on the YouTube playlist a version of them like singing it, I think No, maybe it was from 2019 on Yu Huel's sketchbook.
Ah, the sketchbook
Oh,
show.
so good. So lovely. In April of 2019, they went on their first Asia tour called the newest tour, Segno. The tour kicked off with 3 days of shows in Seoul at the Olympic Gymnastics Arena for an audience of 36,000 from April 12th to the 14th. So this is one of they have not performed in Seoul in a really long time. And so this tour has 2 legs. The first of it is here in Seoul in April, and then it continued later in July with 2 shows in Bangkok and 1 in Hong Kong, and finished in August with shows in Jakarta and Manila. And the second leg of the tour had a combined audience of 45,000.
That's really wild because if you think about the attendance from the other tours tell me that they were playing in arenas with a capacity of 2,000. And now they are playing in arenas with a capacity of 12,000.
Yeah.
That is such a jump.
Yeah, it is.
It's such a jump.
Yeah, it's huge. It's crazy.
Wow.
And in April of 2019, their debut song Face, speaking of things like being a huge jump, surpassed 100 million views on YouTube right before the 5-member reunion.
Yeah. They did it.
They did
Show
it.
the support.
They got the light back on Newest.
So on April 29th, 2019, Newest released their 6th EP called the 6th mini album, Happily Ever After, with the single Bet Bet.
내 선택은 바꿀 거야. You got my back, 나를 걸어볼래. 넌 날 사랑하지 않아도 돼. 이 기회는 나에게 한 번 할지 몰라.
This song was composed by Beko JR Bumzu and Royal Dive. And the music video features them in stunning black outfits with belts and jewels. And they're dancing in water. And there's like Aaron has a little roulette table poker chip set for the bet part. And our queen is back and she's on a throne and has like a jeweled eye, like a jewel curtain
Face
eye cover
thing.
thing. Really stunning. And when she looks in her mirror, there's lightning in it now. Oh no. And at the end of the music video, Minhyun walks through a door and he joins all of the other members and they're in like a magical garden and it plays some of the song Fine, which is the last track on the album.
Nice.
So as a happily ever after, they're all back together. They like feature it in the music video in a little way, which is really nice.
That's nice. And this is the final part of the Night series. So the EP has a fairy tale storybook concept and supposedly finishes out the Night Queen story.
And the lyrics to Bet Bet are about your love is dangerous to me, but I'd do anything for it. But you don't need to love me. You got my bet. I want to bet on myself is the chorus.
Yeah, I couldn't reading through the lyrics. I was like, I don't really get what this is about, but it's a catchy ass song.
It's so
oh my
good.
God. My notes are literally just, fuck me. I love this song.
It's so good. I never get tired of it. Ever.
I never do either. And I also appreciate it because it gave me the pun, new whistle song. Because it's a whistle song.
Love it.
It's got a really great whistle hook in it, but the choreo is also just so good. There's such a, wait, I got distracted. Where are my notes? Here they are. Such good choreo. There's a great run in place move in the chorus when they're like, run to you, run to you. And I feel like maybe this is the most intricate 5-member choreo so far. I don't know. Maybe it's just like a product of the era that now choreo is so much more complex than it used to be. But it's really good. Like the backup dancers are working hard. They are throwing themselves around on the ground. And the boys do too. There's right at the beginning of the chorus, there's this huge jump move. And Beko is such a beefy guy and he gets so much air. He jumps so high. It's crazy. And there's a really nice slutty knee move, which I always have to point out.
Gotta get on the floor.
This album, it had a triple crown on Gown for the week of April 28th to May 4th, which means it was #1 on the weekly album chart, the digital download chart, and the BGM chart. It ended the Gown Monthly at #6, which with 162,000 albums sold, and was certified platinum, which is the first newest album to do so. It also debuted at #8 on the US Billboard World Chart and hit over 10 million views on YouTube in the first week.
Dang, they're here.
Huge turn. Yes, they are here. And Bet Bet is their first music show win as 5 members. They won on May 8th, show champion 7 years after their debut.
And that, at the time, I believe it still is, but it was the record for longest groups ever gone without winning music show.
Yeah. And they went on to win 4 music shows overall. And Becco, JR, and Bumzu wrote all 6 tracks of this album.
And it's a good album.
Oh, yeah, it is. This is excellent from the beginning. From beginning to end. Great album. The physical version also included a Minhyun solo called Universe, which was released with a music video as well that they shot in Budapest and Milan.
Then in May of 2019, they released a special single called Blessing.
그대 혼자 그대 꼭 안아줄게 아침에도 햇살이 눈이 부셔 너에게 다가갔네
And you might be thinking, what? Like, where did that song come from? And it's because this is so special. I can't believe it. This is actually the official audio recording from 2012
Yeah.
of what was supposed to be their debut song.
It was a candidate for their debut, but they never put it out. So they put it out now.
I died because this is a Princess Disco song. It's like absolutely one of my Princess Disco songs with a little bit of like trot cheese thrown in there. And like they sound like tiny little babies. And this is just the cutest. I think this is such a cute thing to do. I can't get over how cute it is. And to make the cute even cuter, they released a special music video of this, which they filmed during their reality show called Newest Road. And it's just like selfie cam music video, but the parts where the members try to sing over Blessing, they do it an octave down because they can't sing this baby song anymore. And it's really cute.
That is really cute. But JR has a lyric credit on this song.
On Blessing.
Yes.
All right. So then October 21st, 2019, they released their 7th EP called The Table. And the single is Love Me.
love me love me love me love me love me love me 완벽하게 전해버린 재밌게로
This song was composed by Becco, JR, Bumzu, Park Ki-tae, and N more. In the music video for this one, we are finally moving away from our artsy night queens emo concepts. And this is like a very fun music video. They are wearing ill-fitting patterned shirts that are tucked into the weirdest pants.
Such strange fabrics.
So funny.
Like some of them look like they're made out of plastic.
Yeah, really wild stuff. And the like aesthetic of the whole music video is kind of like early 80s with like the cars and the technology, but they like work at a space drive-in in space and like go fishing on the clouds. And it's like it's more whimsical, it's very bright, it's very fun and pretty different from like the last era of stuff.
Yeah, definitely very different. But I also really, really like this song. This is like one of my favorites. The chorus is simple, but I don't know. It's just so catchy. It's just so catchy. And they have a lot of fun, like warbled voice effects in the background, which I always love. And the choreo is great. The like main part of the chorus has them like turning their backs to the audience and then doing these like isolated like hands on their arms and stuff. And there's like a great part toward the end where Minhyun is like the center of the V, but he's on his knees, and the rest of the V is all backup dancers, and then the other 4 are like behind him doing like a different version of the choreo, and it's really cool. The like whole piece of it is just really good. But this whole EP was meant to have a more easy listening feel to it. So like the distinct shift in sound not being so dramatic anymore was on purpose. It's called The Table because each song represents stories that friends and families would share around a dinner table. And apparently the recording took more retakes than any other album because of how different the songs were from what they were previously used to singing.
I saw some footage. It might have been from this, or it might have been from another album recording, but it was Becco in the producer chair while they were recording, being very nitpicky in particular. And like whoever was singing was like, it's really like, I feel like you wrote it really hard. And he's like, yep, so take it again. Like, he's like very, yeah. So I think he's a very intense producer. So that's probably why.
Yeah. Like Jew Honey. Again.
Yes, again. This is a straightforward love song. This is where it's a new relationship, but you can trust me. Just get close to me now. I want to dance with you on this empty street. Just be brave. So it's just one of those nice.
Yeah. Love me, love me, love
Come
me.
on, love me songs.
This EP entered the Gown Weekly album at number 2 for the week of release, and it ranked at number 3 on the Gown Monthly with 183,000 sold. The single came in first on all 5 major music shows. Becco and Bumzu wrote all 6 tracks, with JR on 5 and Minhyun on 1. Wow. And the whole EP is really lovely. It's so pleasant. I feel like one of my favorite songs, I just have to call it out, is called Call Me Back. And it has almost a bossa nova vibe to it. Like bossa nova meets that like cafe candy bounciness.
Yeah.
Great. Call Me Back. From November 15th to November 17th this year, they had a Seoul fan meet called Love Page. This was held for 3 days in Seoul at the Olympic Park Stadium, which had an audience of 26,000.
Then on February 14th, Valentine's Day 2020, they released a special single. This is another collaboration with Spoons, and this song is called Let's Love.
당신에게 가장 어울릴 초콜릿 찾고 있어요. 조금만 시간을 내어줄 수 있을까요?
Becco participated producing this song, and all the members wrote the lyrics, and it has a Sweater Boy music video, and the song is just so nice.
Yeah, it's so lovely. I remember when this came out, it was my recommendation on an episode when it came out because it's cute as shit. It's so cute. It's so cute.
It's so cute. So then May 11th, 2020, they released their 8th EP called The Nocturne, and the single was I'm in Trouble.
So baby, oh, oh, I'm in trouble. Oh, I'm in trouble. 비밀을 만들고 싶어졌어. Oh, I'm in trouble. Oh, I'm in trouble.
This song was composed by Becco, Bumzu, and Anchor. And the music video for this one, they have like suit-ish outfits with like cool cutouts and also like really interesting shirts, leather pants-ish. Like those are like the 2 main outfit combos. But this music video seems to have like some kind of story happening with it. Aaron is a tattoo artist. Becco is a photographer. JR is a musician. Ren is like a business guy. And Minhyun is maybe a model or maybe just the ringleader or the person that connects them. But it's very clear throughout the music video that they have a secret, that these 5 people did something together and that they are like all on edge, like waiting for the ball to drop. They like look over their shoulders a lot. And then there's also like scenes of them all like facing each other and like finger gunning, like blaming each other. And they never explicitly say what they might have done, but like it's clear these people are in trouble.
Hey.
So there you go. And also just to note, Becco's hair is like this orchid.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Purpley pink. It's like the prettiest color. It's such a good color.
Also, I had to correct my earlier statement because it's definitely not I'm in Trouble era Aaron that made me think of John Cusack, because his hair is bleach blonde in this, almost white. And he doesn't usually have fun hair colors. He's usually a black-haired boy.
Yeah. So yeah, the lyrics are, oh, I'm in trouble. The words that you spit out, you drive me crazy. I hate the mistake of missing you. Reasons for my feelings, there will be over 1,000.
And I know that when the song came out, I definitely spoke at length about how fucking good it is. But let me just reiterate that this song is fucking great.
It's
so good. Everything about it is one of my favorite things I've just like ever heard. I love everything about this song. Like the bass is so good and the snaps are so good and it's so nice and watery and the choreo is a treat to watch.
Yes.
Like, oh my God, when they do the little knee swivel head turn on the I got you on my mind.
Yes.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite thing. And I just have to say that I love it.
It's so good.
It's so good. This song is so good. Okay. The album entered the Gallon Weekly charts at number 1 for the week of release. The monthly at number 5 with 191,000 sold. And it also topped the album, retail, download, and BGM charts. So it was a all kill number 1. And it is the first full group single of theirs to break into the top 10 on the digital chart. Baekho and Bumzu wrote all 6 tracks with JR on 3, Ren and Minhyun on 1 each. And I gotta shout it out, Moondance is probably one of my favorite newest songs of all time, and it's a B-side on this album. So it's very good.
All right.
On October 7th, 2020, they released their second Japanese album called Drive. This album had 14 tracks of it, but all of them appeared to be previously released Korean songs, but I think they were in their original Korean. I couldn't confirm that because this album isn't available for me to listen to anywhere. But the songs are all written by the members and Bumzu. And then the title track is called Drive Japanese version. So I don't know if it's a Japanese version of a B-side or something. I don't remember a Korean song called Drive.
At least not a major release
yeah.
called Drive.
But the title is called Drive, Japanese version, and it was written by Baekho, Bumzu, Jay and Rudy, and Glenn. And I think this is one of their only... I thought it was interesting that for their Japanese release too, they stuck with the same... Like Baekho and Bumzu got to write it as well, which I don't think happens very often. On January 20, that was the last thing they did in 2020. So January 2021, Aaron goes on a hiatus for mental health and receives support for anxiety.
Good for him. Good for breaks. Then April 19th, 2021, they released their second full album called Romanticize, and the single is Inside Out.
더 깊어지는 lovesick 내 맘은 계속 creepy 멈추지 못해 난 너에게로 가 You're the one that I want the one that I need
Inside Out was composed by Baekho, JR, Bumzu, G-High, Inner Child, Anchor, and Jay and Rudy. We've got a lot more people on this one than usual. And the music video concept for this one is art. They're in museums. They have wild outfits on. Baekho is chiseling shirtless. They're in like photography exhibit. It's like art. Also, Aaron has the mullet that we spoke about earlier. And Ren has the shortest hair
he's ever had.
And it's like aqua blue in this bright, unbelievable blue raspberry shade.
Yes.
Like blue raspberry lollipop
It is such
shade.
an unnatural, like a shade that is not often seen in anything other than candy.
Yeah.
Like it is so shocking and so vibrant. And all of the like, I don't know, I felt like personally, I didn't love the color schemes that they chose for these outfits. I felt like the cuts of them were fine. Like they're mostly just wearing like complicated shirts tucked into complicated pants. But the patterns are weird. And like on stage, they wore a lot of like almost camouflage color scheme. And I don't know, I just didn't like the colors. It's my only complaint.
The lyrics of this one describe not being able to stop loving someone. They say, entering my passcode, your birthday, when I close the door, see the failing guardrail, and my heart continues to race to you, growing lovesick.
The drama.
The drama.
The drama. This album entered the weekly album charts at number 2 for the week of its release and the monthly at number 6 with 206,000 albums sold. It went on to win 4 music shows. Becco has 6 writing credits out of the 10 total tracks. And this album actually features a solo song for every single member, and each member wrote their own solo. Aside from his solo track, JR also has 3 additional credits. Aaron did promote. He is in the music video, and he did go on the music shows with them. He like came out of his hiatus to like join them for this, and then he went back to hiatus. So he only came out to be on the music shows, and then he went back until the end of June when he officially announced in a V Live that he would be rejoining them. So the rest of this year, they just kind of do a lot of solo activities. JR and Minhyun are in dramas, Let Me Be Your Knight and Soul Marriage, respectively. Aaron hosted a Twitter talk show called Circle Room. Becco made his theater debut. He was in both Midnight Sun and Altar Boys. And Ren headlined as Hedwig in The Angry Inch.
Ooh.
Love it. November of 2021, they came back together to have a soul concert called The Black. This was an offline concert and was the first in over 2 years, and it was held for 3 days at the Jamsil Indoor Gymnasium in Seoul. They ended this year of 2021 with various performances. They performed at the Asia Artist Awards, where they also won the Best Achievement Award. They went to the KBS Song Festival, SBS Gayo, etc.
Then, just a few weeks ago, on February 28th of this year, it was officially announced that Newest's contracts would be ending today, March 15th. Aaron, JR, and Ren will be leaving Pledis, and Becco and Minhyun renewed their contracts. The members all posted handwritten letters on their social medias, thanking their loves and just confirming that, like, this is what was going to happen.
Yes.
And it's very sad.
It is very, very sad. I mean, especially, it's sad for anyone who has been following them for, I think, any amount of time. And then, like, especially going through this and, like, learning all about them for the first time and being like, wow, they really,
They
like,
just got started. It feels like they just got started.
And also, every single, like, not only do they have I can't say that like any of their albums are bad, because none of them are. Like, they have a solid discography through, like, especially when you consider like that they started in 2012 and like the way that they go through the eras of K-pop.
The way that K-pop has changed since 2012 and that they've stayed with it.
They've stayed with it and made quality, relevant music through every single trend of K-pop. They like really were doing what was popular, and it's just like so sad to see that, like, oh man, like every single album like just got better and better. They were just aging like fine wines, and like they're not even that freaking old.
None of them have gone to the military yet. They're 95ers. They still have till next year.
They still have time. And like, what? We're calling it quits now? But why?
But why? I know that's like that's the eternal question, and nobody really knows, and we're not a speculative, gossipy podcast usually, but like, it feels like it could be a couple of different factors. Like, we have a pattern now that we can see that with Big Hit Hybe buying companies, that they seem to let groups go, like, shortly after. And many people were confused by G-Friend being disbanded because they were very popular. And it feels confusing to me to disband this group.
Yeah, and actually G-Friend is a good parallel to it, because their last few comebacks had like really departed from what they had originally done, and both were very popular. So it was like, it's not like you can make the argument that they are being disbanded because they're not successful. Like, these groups are being disbanded when they're at their most successful.
Yeah.
And that's very odd.
That feels odd. And I don't know why. And I mean, I guess there is a chance that it could be because they haven't reached enlistment age yet, but contracts ended, and maybe they didn't want to do
another 10-year contract where 2 of them are going to be on hiatus.
Yeah, and like maybe they didn't want to do hiatus stuff. Maybe they were like, we already did W. Like, we're not doing things with some of you. Like, Or I don't know, or maybe the others got really great offers to do other things, or like
Yeah, maybe
I
the
don't
members
know.
I mean, the members themselves have been doing this for 10 years.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
like
that's a long
it is
time.
entirely possible that like the members wanted to go on and do their own things, because they do say like in all of their handwritten letters, like talked about the solo activities they're interested in pursuing, and like, you know, some of the boys like to act and some of them like to go on stage. So I guess I could understand that too, but I also just am like, but you guys were just getting
I know,
good.
but can I have a little more, please?
But
Yeah.
but do we have to disband completely? Can you not do your solo things at the same time?
Yeah.
Can we not continue?
Yeah, I don't know. But I guess it is like, I do think that it's at least maybe like a bright spot or something to look forward to know that Becco is staying at Pledis, where he seems to be like cementing himself as
as
an
a
in-house
songwriter,
producer at Pledis. And that like, I don't know if his group doesn't get to go on, like maybe he can write some smashes for some new groups. But also, who is left at Pledis?
Fucking nobody.
Just 17? Is there another like baby girl group under 17 that I forget
I
about?
highly doubt it.
Lightsome or something? Is that Pledis?
Or are they Pledis? I don't
Let me
think
look.
so.
Now I need to
Now we
I need to know.
Now we need to know.
Who do they still even have these days?
I mean, maybe they still manage like Nana doing her individual
Yeah, they
solo
still
Nana
claim
things.
after school.
Yeah, they still claim
Oh,
after
Promise
school.
9 is Pledis.
Promise 9, that's right. That's the baby girl group.
But that's it. That's
Yeah.
all they've got.
Wow, they really only have 17 and Promise 9 left. Well, girls, you better be, I don't know, casting your
Watch
spells
out.
and shit. Look out!
But anyway, that brings us to today, March 15th, 2022. Newest released their final album called Newest, the Best Album, Needle and Bubble, which I think is a very like poignant and maybe even a little shady of a title, because you know what happens with needles and bubbles? They pop. Rude. But anyway, this is a compilation album, so it has 6 remastered versions of songs and 2 remixes of previously released songs and 2 new songs, one called Galaxy and one called Spring Again, which is the main release.
세상이 모두 변해도 나는 중요했어 우리 모두 지난 선물이 되면
Yeah, so the music video for this one has all of the members in individual rooms. There's all white outfits, and then there's also like different outfits. Very dramatic camera work.
Yeah, but the members are just like standing still. Like the camera sweeps around, but they're just standing dramatically in these like different beautiful places.
But I feel like people are probably compiling Twitter threads that I've missed because it's early in the day. But I just, after watching all of their music videos and then watching this, felt like I was seeing a lot of Easter eggs and references to other music videos. Like I
Agreed.
think that payphone is the Hello payphone.
My thoughts exactly.
The teal apartment where the pink bowl cut is, I believe that like it looks like they're sitting in the same one. We've got our broken mirrors and our paint and our trees and like a lot of the things that showed up in other music videos, and I feel like that had to be purposeful.
Absolutely.
Somebody else pointed out that in the teaser photos for this album, they sat in the same orders and same piles that they do on their other album covers. So they were like recreating album covers and stuff. So there's definitely like a retrospective element to the whole thing. And it's really beautiful and sad.
It
And
is
I knew
really
it
beautiful.
was going to be, but yeah, the lyrics are, in the spring we'll meet again. And though the entire world changes, I can stay the same. And like, hold your newest memories. Wah.
I know. Yeah, like I'll still be standing here when the spring comes again. I felt like this kind of checked a lot of fan song
for sure.
boxes for sure, because it's definitely like a goodbye song and like
Yeah. So that's it. That's the end. That's today. That's where we have to leave it, because it's happening right
ended.
now.
Yeah.
It just ended.
just
So all we
ended.
can do is like hope for the future and hope that the newest members are happy and find things that they want to do, or if they want to do absolutely nothing, or I don't know. I just
Yeah.
hope this was the right, if it was a choice, I hope it was the right choice for everybody. And if this was forced upon them, that really sucks.
Then
And
that
I hope
really
that they
fucking
can deal
sucks,
with
yeah.
that in whatever way they need to. Disbandments are sad.
Yeah, disbandments are sad, and if they did want to continue, then maybe, because they do all have to go to the military soon, maybe like when they come back or something, like they could get back together, like being at different companies, or like if Becco has a more like solid place in, you know, like higher up in the Pledis infrastructure or something, maybe he can pull some strings.
Yeah. But it's interesting because I feel like it's also like been a minute, like honestly, like years, I feel like, since a group that's lasted this long has straight up disbanded.
Yes,
because
I was thinking the
Got
same
Seven,
thing.
Girls' Generation, none of those groups disbanded. They all said we're leaving companies and we'll come back another time.
Yeah.
Like, this was like, we're done.
We're
I feel like
done.
it's been so long since we've gotten a firm,
Yeah.
we're done.
Yeah, it has been a long time. It has been a long time. I agree. Because we've been, I feel like every single time that we've brought up a recent group who has had some shift, we keep saying like, well, we'll see. Because like, yeah, they like claim that they're not over. And so far, I think like 2
2PM has proved that they can come back. Somebody
Although,
else
well,
did too.
A-Pink, but she didn't promote with them, which I thought was odd because like Taecyeon promoted with 2PM. So I wonder why she wasn't able to do that. Something about their contract, I suppose. But yeah, so like we know it's possible to continue even if you don't stay at the same company. So like,
Yeah,
why?
what was the decision? So sad.
Why?
I don't know. But
We'll
I
never
did know that I had a really good time watching all this and listening to
yeah.
all this. And I have so much like old music that's new to me that I
Yeah.
get to enjoy now. But yeah, just what a fucking bummer.
I know, what a huge bummer, especially, yeah, like going through and listening to every single one of their EPs and like trying to just choose 1 or 2 B-sides from each album was almost impossible because most of the albums are great from start to finish. And I was like, what the fuck? Why didn't I know this already?
Yeah, totally. Well, with that, we will go stomp out our frustrations and be right back with a random game, not random music video viewing. All right, we are back. And to close this out, we are going to watch Newest's second most popular music video. And at 30 million views, that is their second music video, Action.
Woohoo.
So if you want to watch it with us, you can pull it up and just press play when I say go. And we're going to talk over it and enjoy this great little moment. Here we go. 2013, right?
Yep, I think so.
Or 2012. 2012.
Oh, right, because this was just their second.
Yes. Action. Newest. 3, 2, 1, go.
Ooh, spiky gloves. I love this choreo.
The running in the line. The mirrors. There's so much mirrored clothing and mirrors around and mirrors.
Becco is wearing, a lot of them are wearing like weird woven shirts. Like Minhyun has a scene where he's wearing like macrame. And then in this dance scene, or one of the solo shots, Becco is wearing a shirt that's just like ribbons. It's, oh my God. Ren and this sheet of bangs with his hat.
Bangs.
This sheet of bangs is so insane. Look at this disco top that he has. But then when he was on stage, he also had to perform with that same sheet of bangs and a hat. And the way that it got immovably in his face.
I had this in my notes during the timeline, but I didn't note it because we didn't watch it. But they have the exact same haircuts that they do in their debut video. So I
Yeah.
wondered if they were like filmed at the same time and they just spaced the releases out.
Probably. Because they came out fairly quickly after one another. Yeah. I love like you said, there's a lot of like mirror motifs or whatever, and JR has like mirror shards in his hair. Like there's the macrame. The like tape. Oh, it was this beret. It's no Ren and this immovable bang. That's what he wore on stage, with that little black beret. Look at it. It's so silly.
Nice chained up.
Handcuffs. the most beautiful eyeliner
I
on
know.
Ren all the time. But yeah, those little shards.
When he's in his like mirror marionette scene.
There's the ribbon shirt.
Oh, and that
Huge
super
jumps.
billowy
Yeah.
shirt.
Yeah, every time he jumps, it's just like abs.
This song also, like, we'll get, I think the dance break is coming, but this song does give me TVXQ vibes. I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like the TVXQ
Here
influence
it
is
is.
felt. Oh boy.
Actually, I was thinking that a lot of the costumes remind me of Catch Me.
yes.
With all of the like metal pieces and being like a robot or something. But I thought, and it could totally be just a result of them being only 5, but there's so many of their early music videos where I'm like, this feels super SM to me.
Yes.
Like, this feels super
It
SM to
does.
me. Sleep Talking felt very SM
Yes.
to me as well. In which I say as a compliment. I'm
Of
a huge
course.
SM bias. Like, hello, highest praise. But yeah, I thought this song is so fun. That fucking jump.
Oh no, his chords are snapping. Oh, my, that 2-shot.
I think part of the SM quality of theirs is the good harmonies
Yes,
that they have.
agree,
they have
agree.
really good harmonies.
Yay!
Yay, newest!
That was so good.
My first recommended video is 2 p.m. Girl Generation Caribbean Bay. Please go away.
What a weird moment. All right. Well, that is it. This is when we usually recommend extra things. And I feel like I just overall want to recommend Newest in general. Like, so many of these songs were, especially the early stuff, was really unfamiliar to me. And like, I enjoyed so much of it that I'm just
Yeah.
like, go watch our whole playlist of all the videos.
Yeah, I really enjoyed a lot of it, and they released a lot of like choreo versions or like dance practices or something. So there is a lot of like good content that you can see, a lot of like, you know, you can get the whole picture of everything. But also, I just feel like their general discography was great. Like, if you liked one of these title songs, then listen to the whole EP. Most of their discography is EPs, so it's just like a 6-track thing you can really easily put on in the background. I think my personal favorite was Q Is, but I also really, really liked The Table. But honestly, so many of them were so
Yeah.
good. Like, I think I'll probably put a bonus B-side playlist out just because like they deserve it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it might just be like all of their
It
shit.
might just be everything. Yeah, I know that when Bet Beck came out that I listened to the entirety of Happily Ever After like a lot of times, so I know I can stand by that album. But yesterday, or when I was doing research, I was trying to just listen to them on shuffle in the background and make notes of songs that I liked, but I'm so bad at remembering to do that. So the only song I remembered to heart is from Rebirth, and it's called Storybook.
Oh,
And
yes, I have that written down as one of my
and
favorites as well.
It caught my ear. So that's the one specific I remembered to write down. But overall, I say just get on it.
Yeah, just get on it. It's good. It's all good.
So, in conclusion, thank you, Newest, for working so hard for 10 years. Thank you for bringing your talents all over the world.
Yeah.
Going to South America and Europe a bunch of times. That's really cool.
And bringing K-pop to places that very often do not get K-pop shows. Like, name another group that's been to El Salvador. I dare you.
Yeah. I can't be sure if it's anyone.
I certainly don't know.
But yeah, they made really great music,
They
and I hope
did.
they had a really good time. And like, I'm sorry that it's over already. But
Yeah.
you know, what's the quote? Like, don't be sad because it's over. Like, smile because it happened, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, all we can do is take this K-pop history and this 10 years of music and enjoy it, because that's what Newest would want us to do, to keep
Yes.
enjoying their songs that they work so hard to make.
They did. And they're there for us to enjoy forever.
Yes, and that's nice. So thank you for that, Newest. And
To Newest.
To Newest. Well, I hope you enjoyed that deep dive. And if you want to tell us if you liked it or tell us anything at all, we can be found at AMA Kpop Pod on Twitter and Instagram, AMA Kpop Pod at gmail.com for emails. 181 AMA Kpop 5 if you want to leave us a voicemail. P.O. Box 26096, Los Angeles, California 90026 for letters, packages, whatever, mail. You can go to Linktree/AMA Kpop and get to our YouTube, our Spotify, where there's playlists for every single song that we mentioned, whether you heard a clip of it on the ep or not. It's all in there, plus stages and other great stuff, so you can really dive into newest. Also, a Spotify playlist of all the songs. You can join our Discord from the Linktree link, talk to other listeners about K-pop or the episodes or whatever you want. We are also on Patreon, patreon.com/AMAKpop Pod. You can join there and watch bonus video episodes of the show, one every month. And that's it. That's all the places. Thank you for tuning in to another deep dive, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Jonghyun, you're our inspiration.